Bet you don't remember all the schools you went to growing up.
Yes, I do.
You're like, yes, I do. Yes, kindergarten, go.
Okay, so I started at Davis School.
Which is where?
In East Camden.
Okay.
New Jersey. And then from there, I went to
from
Park.
All right, so you went to Davis, what from kindergarten
from
through?
Kindergarten to first grade.
Okay.
I went to Highland Park, Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. Shout out to y'all. I'm friends with some of them on Facebook. I went there from second grade to fourth grade.
Now let's talk about this. Born and raised in Camden, but you spent second, third, and fourth grade in Upper Darby. Yes, how did that happen?
That happened. It was time to move. A situation happened between my parents, so we packed up. I was asleep and had on pajamas. I woke up and I was somewhere else.
In a whole nother state.
Didn't know where the hell I was.
You woke up like it was a movie.
I thought we were just taking a little trip or something, but hey, wound up in Upper Darby.
Okay.
Was interesting.
I was about to say, do you remember that? You remember Highland Park?
Predominantly, white. It wasn't too many of us black families there.
Okay.
I remember we had an African family up the hill, which was cool because we were kind of Caribbean and neighbor island, so
right.
We wrapped the taste. But after being there, we wound up being the coolest people, because the parents could think whatever they want, but their kids at that time just thought we were dope.
Right.
They weren't looking at color. They just thought we was some dope kids.
Okay.
So they just rocked with us hard.
Oh, right. That's what's up when you got that quality reception.
Right.
So we're the fly kids in the neighborhood.
It was great. It was when I came back here.
Came back to New Jersey, right?
The people started hating it.
So you were like a rock star at Highland Park then. You loved it. You loved that experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Then I brought the beat back.
All right. So fifth grade.
Cooper's Point to 8th grade.
From 5th to 8th. So basically middle school. Where is Cooper's Point?
North Camden.
In North Camden, okay. So you went from East Camden to Upper Darby, PA, which is right outside of Philadelphia.
Correct.
To now back to Camden, but this time in North Camden, which is a whole nother different...
Whole nother dynamic or what have you.
Right.
Everybody, it was cool there, but they always said that I hated it. I spoke white. I speak proper.
Got it. Because you grew up around the white kids, right?
I guess I must have, if I get vexed or upset, I sound like I'm Trinidadian and I ain't from there, but it depends on where you take me, where I go.
Okay, got it. Now, why did you hate that so much, though, that the kids in North Camden said that you spoke white?
I didn't like the whole... It's like a bubble. I hate the fact that because you speak proper and you're a certain skin tone.
It's not cool in the hood.
It's not cool in the hood, and then, again, they're saying that you speak white. There's no such thing as speaking white.
Right.
I speak proper.
Right.
But I could get down and grime, I could get gully if you want me to. But I turn it off and on.
Got it.
It's not my fault that I'm doing words a certain way that you were saying it. I'm not saying sketty.
Right.
I'm sorry.
But regardless of that, you were able to adapt to that situation.
I can adapt to any. That's one thing about me. I can adapt to anything.
Okay. So you graduate from Cooper's Point.
Yes.
Okay. And you go where?
Camden High, Panthers.
All 4 years?
All 4 years.
So with that being said, you had a pretty stable childhood. You had the one little bump in elementary school.
Yeah.
But you did the whole middle school and the whole high school at basically one school.
One school, yes.
Okay, pretty stable. How would you describe your Camden High experience, your high school experience? What was that like for you?
It's funny. When I first started there, because I'm coming from Cooper's Point.
Right.
Coopers Point is nowhere near where Camden High is.
Where is Camden High?
Camden High is located in Parkside.
Okay. Which is kind of far from North Camden.
Kind of.
Okay.
It is.
Like it is.
I only knew 3 people.
Okay.
Can't really give you.
Do you remember the 3 people? Do you remember
Yes, I do.
All right, what are their names? Give them a shout out.
Shout out to Tycho. He's somewhere down south now. Jim, Parkside, and Latina, Fairview.
Okay.
I only knew those 3 people. I didn't know nobody else.
Right.
And of course,
were they all your age?
They're all my age.
Okay.
We all graduated from Cooper's Point together and went to Camden High, but Camden High is mostly the neighboring middle schools that went there.
Right.
I'm coming from a middle school that's nowhere near there.
Got it.
And now I'm there. So.
So people from Cooper's Point wouldn't normally go to Camden High?
No. They would
so how were you able to go there? What was that about?
Even though I went to Cooper's Point,
right.
I lived right down the street from Hatch and Camden High, which are both in Parkside.
In Parkside, right,
But I
right.
still went to Coopers Point.
So the question
You gotta
should
talk to Pat.
The question shouldn't be how'd you go to Camden High. It should be how'd you go to Coopers
How I
Point.
go to Coopers Point
Right.
should have been the question.
So how'd you get to school in the morning for Coopers Point?
My mama.
Your mom would take you? Okay.
And then when I finally got to 8th grade, then I would catch the bus home, which the bus was right outside of Coopers Point.
Okay.
And it dropped me off right at the corner of my house.
Well, that's very convenient.
To the point that the bus driver knew me.
Okay.
He wouldn't even drop me off at the bus stop. He would drop me off right in front of my house.
Got
Make sure I go
it.
in and then he'll pull off. But he knew it was me at the time and everything.
So in high school, you knew 3 people coming in?
Coming in.
Okay, and how was that?
I mean, it was a whole different dynamic. You know, I didn't, these people that I knew from Coopers Point, yeah, they knew me for 3 years of my life, but it's not anyone that I like grew up with or anything. So it was a little awkward, but I met one little lovely lady, and from there she introduced me to 10,000 people, and the rest is history. And we're still best friends to this day.
Got it.
Since
Give her a shout out.
95.
What's her name?
Shout out Farrah.
Shout out
Love
to
you,
Farrah.
baby.
Did you work in high school?
I did.
What was your first ever job?
My first job.
Was it in high school? That's first of all.
My first job was in high school.
Okay.
My first job was Dunkin' Donuts,
Really?
which is still there.
All right, where?
It's depending. They consider it either Collingswood. It's off of 130, but still Collingswood, New Jersey.
Okay.
Back then, you didn't just get your food from Dunkin' Donuts and leave. That's back in the day when you used to sit down. It was like kind of like a diner experience then.
Right,
It
right.
wasn't very to go
Okay.
like it is now. Love that job.
How old were you? 16, 17?
I was 16.
Okay.
I was 16, and then I left that job.
Wait, so what did you do?
I basically poured your coffee.
Right.
You know, get your orders and stuff. I didn't make the donuts.
You never made the donuts?
I tried to once, and Woody told me, get the hell out the kitchen. So I left. And
Shout out to Woody.
Shout out to Woody. I hope you still around, my man, because you was my boy. Right? I ain't gonna front. Yeah, Woody kicked me out and just told me to stay in the front and don't go back in the kitchen. I tried, okay? I must have gave a little too more sprinkles, a little too much of the powder. My bad.
Right.
He didn't tell me it was levels to the shit.
So having said that, can you
They was
cook
the best
today?
donuts ever, too, by the way.
Can you cook today? Are you a chef in the kitchen?
I mean, I don't like to boast, you know, but I mean, I burns a little bit.
Okay.
I do a little something.
Okay. That might have been subconsciously what turned you into this
Is that
master
what it
chef.
was? I think that's what it was. Thank you, Woody.
So you graduated from Camden High. What year?
I graduated class of 99.
Class of 99. Interesting. And you are 17 or 18?
I was 17.
So overall, like a lot of people, I guess is a coin flip, right? Whether people either had a good high school experience or they didn't.
Or hated it, yeah.
What would exactly like I did. I hated high school. I despised it. But
Shocking, go ahead.
but with that being said, how was your high school experience overall?
I loved it.
Really?
I loved it.
What did you love about it?
I think I liked it because even though some of the things I learned was absolutely the fucking lies. They lied to me. There was a lot of things that people taught me in high school because my mom sheltered me.
Okay.
I wasn't out or nothing. So going to high school, what? That was the spot.
Got it.
Until I started, until I thought Centerville was down the highway with Sicklerville and didn't realize it really was just another hood in Camden. Didn't
Right.
know that. Because again, sheltered, didn't know. So some things I learned did help me. Some things I learned like, y'all lied. But
But having said that, so you mentioned that you got pregnant with your first child at 16, which means you were in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Was that some guy you met in the school?
that was, I guess you could call it the high school sweetheart. I met him in 9th grade.
Okay.
Another one of my besties, shout out Brian.
Okay.
Introduced me to him. We did a couple beats on the lunch table, and
Right.
he was a
That was it.
goofball. I'm a goofball.
Right.
Meshed and it worked. I started doing schooling at home when my 12th grade year.
Okay.
So I missed out on, things with like the yearbook and things like that. I missed out on because I was home. However, still graduated with A's and B's.
Right.
Still finished off strong. So my baby was a blessing.
Now, she was your daughter. This is your daughter.
My daughter,
We
yes.
know you love your daughter, and right, with all your heart.
Yes, indeed.
But if you were to go back, would you still have gotten pregnant?
Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, I think I would.
Okay.
I think if I didn't, I might have wilded out way more.
Really?
I think I still needed that groundation because I was just meeting these people. I'm now going to different events and things that I'd never experienced before. So I might have been a wild child.
Right.
If I didn't have her, I still wound up being a wild child though. Don't get it twisted. But
It was
finished
less
off
than what it would have
school,
been.
Than what it would have been. I honestly believe I would have really been off the chains.
So you feel like having your daughter early, well, really a kid having a kid,
Yeah,
actually
basically.
made you grow up faster.
Faster.
Okay.
So I kind of backslid after having her, and she was about 3, and then started going out and partying. I kind of did it backwards.
Okay.
So, but at least I was a little bit older then. Still made the same fucking mistakes everybody makes, but I still feel like at that time in my life, I'm a firm believer everything happens for a reason.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst ever and 10 being the best possible, how would you personally rate your childhood?
From a 1 to 10, I think I would go with a good 7.
Okay. Okay. What would have had to happen for you to have said 8 or 9?
I think more, I want to say maybe more groundation within like my parents growing up. I think a little more communication amongst my parents as well. Also, I feel like there was something that I went through when I was a kid that kind of made me look at things different, look at people differently. So I don't know if that might have boosted up.
Let's talk about that. What was that thing that happened?
Being young and pregnant, very into church. Even though, my dad wasn't physically in my household, he still took me to church every Sunday like clockwork. That's what we did. Very into singing, so enjoyed that. And having a baby or being pregnant out of wedlock, I was told that I could no longer be a part of my Sunday school choir.
Okay.
Because I was pregnant out of wedlock. At first I didn't understand that part, but kind of was okay with it. But it's when, say, a sister and a brother from the Women's Day and Men's Day choir, they also are about to have a baby out of wedlock, but they're still allowed to participate
Oh, wow.
in the choir and stuff, but I wasn't. So that started making me